All
Cool.
right. So, last but not least, we have my game that defines me. This was a game on the PS3, I believe, and it was directly connected to one of my favorite movies of all time. And up until the recent Marvel Spider-Man, this to me was the best video game rendition of a movie that I had ever played, and this was the Bourne Conspiracy. This was made by a dude named Robert Ludlum, and it was not called the Bourne Identity, even though it was completely based off of that. They did not have the likeness of Matt Damon, but that's actually because they wanted it to be more like closer to Myst than like a shooter. So I guess there was like some issues with the people who made it, but they wanted it to be closer to like an adventure game than like actually an action shooter game. And that little difference for me was everything. Like just the way it played was so dope to me. I actually enjoy the gameplay of this that more than I like watching the movie. Like the way that they were able to do fighting scenes was just like so smooth to me. Like every time you would go up to somebody, there was like like this level right here is at the docks. You're kind of like sneaking around, much like in the first movie, and you can like quickly take people out. But every now and then you'll like fight like a sergeant or like a boss dude who can really fight. And that's when they really brought the martial arts. And if you've ever seen the Jason Bourne films, you know that there's like per movie there's like one or two fight scenes that is just like god dang,
Yeah.
like
Well
the one with
choreographed.
Pen with where he had the magazine. Like that's what I loved about Jason Bourne. There was always some fight where he had a ridiculous weapon like a washcloth or a magazine rolled up, and he would just do like crazy damage. Like the fight scenes and the fight choreography was ridiculous, and they brought it to this to this game for sure. And it was like even everything down to like how it looked and how he was dressing at the time. It was just like a European game with like American martial arts. And I
Gotcha.
hope they get into like a okay, so this is like you can see how the style sort of changed into a
Oh,
first
damn.
person shooter. But like they really go in on the fighting. Like it literally like switched styles into like a fighting scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then what's cool,
okay.
Hands.
Oh, this is good. He really got hands.
I like
Okay.
it.
I like
You guys bent up the whole
shakes.
steel cabinet.
yeah,
Okay.
you can use like the stuff around you, sort of like in Jackie Chan Adventures. But
Yeah.
when you actually got into like the fighting gameplay, it was just so dope. You could sleep a dude
I was
like
about to
that.
say, he
It
just
felt
literally is-
so real.
You gotta give them the mink minks, Pat. They love the mink minks.
But it's like remember that scene in the one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when he first went to they basically like dug this light out of his leg. It was like stitched into his leg, and the light when it shined onto a wall, it had like a code. So he went into someplace in Europe and got like a safe code out of the bank, and he went because he didn't know who he was, and he went to his lockbox, and there was like a gun, 10 different passports, a bunch of money, and he was just like, what the heck? So he put it all into this red backpack, and then he went into the US embassy, and he had to fight like all these soldiers. And they put that in this level, but they literally made it a better scene than it was in the movie, because every time you went head to head with a Marine, it was like hands. And that was the best part about this game. But then once you really felt like it was like, like those new Batman games, like the Arkham series, where you really
Yeah.
felt like you were fighting like Batman. This was the game right before that made you really feel like you were fighting like the
Oh, no.
character.
Pat, I for
And
sure
I-
see it. Yeah, I for sure see what you're talking about. Like, he is absolutely, like, he's way better than these guys in fighting. Like, it literally is proving a point of how much better he is the way he's handling these dudes.
And those are just like random guys. Every now and then you'll get like I said, like a sergeant, or like
Yeah.
it'll be like the main dude of these docks, but it'll be like an actual boss fight. And those are like the highlights of the game, because it's like a lot of games you sort of dread the boss fight, but these are the ones that you sort of like look forward to. And then on top of that, the shooting dynamic was fun as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like the third person shooting, it was kind of like an early Uncharted sort of vibe, but it was really all down to the fighting. and it kind of brought back sort of like that arcade mode of things where you're sort of like running and there's like a cutscene and you have to like press something really quickly. It really like brought back that whole style. And if you're a fan of the Bourne series, this was a super sleeper, but it was one of those things that I played. I played normal mode, hard mode, super hard mode. Like it was really one of those first things.
Small detail that I appreciate so much is when this character is running and he hits a corner, the camera goes into Dutch mode as if it's following his momentum and his rhythm.
Okay.
That's a small detail that I'm like, I've never seen that in a video game. That's
Right.
fucking cool.
No.
And you know what's interesting about that? Whenever you have a game that has like somebody's name, like Robert Ludlow's so and so, it's usually on some director type stuff that lends itself to little moments like that.
Yeah.
Ejected that man. Sorry.
Yeah, that was like some specific Hollywood cinematic stuff that was that they wanted to transfer over from the movie, and I'm assuming Robert Ludlow had a lot to do with that.
Shots on Robert Ludlow.
But yeah, if you remember sort of like the movie and like the scene where he had to fight that gigantic African general, and he was so much bigger than the dude, but he had to use like all these things, like here he goes right here. Look at this fight.
It's time.
Oh, Mollywop.
Oh, yeah.
He reminded me of that dude on that meme. Surprise, mother.
He does.
Right? Officer Dokes.
Yeah.
Oh, but the hands were just so satisfying, and that's really what made this game. And when you actually landed a kick, you just felt like you were beating up somebody that was bigger than you.
Yeah.
Because that was his whole thing. Like everybody was bigger than him, but he was an assassin, so he was able to use those.
Is that a knife?
Oh, God. You saw that? I think that was the pen move. Remember when he put the pen in the dude's hand?
Oh yeah. Man, so my thing is, there was a Minority Report game, Pat, and when you brought this game up, I thought you were talking about Minority Report. It was that game was a lot more open world than this. It kind of played just like it though. It kind of just played. It was a lot more open world than because this seems pretty linear. You know what I mean? It shows you exactly where to go and all that stuff like that. So, but this is crazy. Like this. I mean, again, he's still fighting this guy.
Yeah, I feel like at this point it's just a good fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's so big, it's just like you have to use other stuff besides just the straight up hands. Because
Slam his head in the locker, then. God damn it.
No, he did.
Okay.
I think he missed that one. But he slammed him into the locker. He put like a little knife or pen into his. Oh.
That's it. Oh, I thought he was down.
Oh, he's
hands, kicks, feet.
taking a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like these boss fights are a little bit more intricate than the. Okay, what's he about to do? Oh, I think that was the other guy's attack. But yeah, these attacks. The crazy thing is like I think around the time I was a fan of the Bourne series was my first and only time in. Oh, he just threw him over.
That's racist.
Good night.
He was like, I know you can't swim.
There it is. Get him out of there.
Oh man. Come on, we didn't have to say it. We knew.
Get him out of there.
But yeah, that is the Bourne conspiracy. If you're a fan of the series, or if you've never seen the movie series, please go ahead and watch the Bourne trilogy. There's a couple more after the trilogy. You don't have to watch those. But yeah, the Bourne trilogy, and then this game. If you like action games, this one has shooting, hands, and just like Khleo was saying, some like cinematic aesthetics that I feel like a lot of you guys would appreciate.
You think this is canon?
Huh?
Is it canon, you think, with the Bourne series?
So it actually follows the Bourne Identity, the first one.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there it is.